The fight against ISIS is the latest chapter in a long American war against Islamic extremists. But it brings its own particular challenges, each of them problems that had kept the president from launching a broad campaign until now. With military action inside Syria, the U.S. is plunging itself into a brutal and confusing civil war. ISIS is the enemy today, but so is ISIS's chief rival, Bashar al-Assad. America's allies on the ground, both in Syria, the moderate Syrian rebels, and in Iraq, the Iraqi army, are unproven fighting forces. Neither has made any significant headway against ISIS on its own.
The moderate rebels in the past haven't been proven to be a cohesive fighting unit. In many cases, they're also not very moderate, and sometimes they make league with groups like al-Nusra, which we are dedicated to fighting against.
And into this confusing war, the president is sending an additional 475 U.S. military advisors to Iraq, raising the total number of U.S. forces there to 1,700. They won't be in combat, but they will face risk in the air and on the ground. And the president's pledge to limit that risk by ruling out a combat role greatly limits the effectiveness of airstrikes.
An air campaign can be highly effective if you have targeters on the ground embedded with the combat units.
On the home front, military action that many believe will last years will cost billions of dollars, disrupting, if not destroying, the president's attempt to shrink the Pentagon budget.
It'll be up to Congress to come up with the resources to make sure that the U.S. military is not encumbered by lack of funds, lack of resources.
At stake, U.S. security at home and abroad. U.S. officials now estimate ISIS has more than 10,000 fighters, including 2,000 Westerners, among them about a dozen Americans. Allahu Akbar! The fear that those Western fighters are being encouraged to carry out terror attacks when they return home.
And there's one more challenge for the president at home. Most presidents experience a surge of popularity when they take the nation to war. President Obama does not. While polls show that Americans support military action against ISIS, they do not approve of the president's handling of ISIS. So, in effect, Jake, the American public supports the policy, but not the president. And, you know, as this drags out, how much of a danger is that going to be for him to keep spending the money, sending the troops in harm's way, et cetera?